So we are 1 week into the Simpsons mini-season in Fortnite, and this could be the best Fortnite has been since the start of Chapter 6, and maybe even longer. Epic have really surprised a lot of us because they honestly have done so much to make it this good, from the storyline to the map details and even the Easter eggs. But maybe not the skill gap or the loot pool, because I'm seriously struggling to get eliminations. Either way, it's genuinely much better than I thought it would be, as felt like a long time since the storyline actually had direction, and that's something that a lot of the community has been waiting for, especially because we went from a very confusing and messy storyline last season with the bug invasion. There was seriously a lot of plot holes last season, and now that we have this all new island and exciting game, it genuinely feels really refreshing. Almost everyone was worried about what Epic would do with this mini-season, as the last mini-season's galactic battle was a bit of a failure. I don't really think any of us thought that the Simpsons themed season would actually work in so many different ways. But now that the storyline quests have dropped, I'm going to be explaining everything with what's happening, as there is seriously a lot of content that has already dropped. So a small shard of the 0 point that we were looking for with Hope and Jones somehow ends up in Homer Simpson's hands. Instead of doing anything smart and responsible with it, he decides to stick it into a remote control and begins to use it around his house and then around the town of Springfield, with no real intention of doing good, but just using it to have fun, which has its consequences, because the more he uses it, the more it becomes unstable, as the shard has already begun to spread corruption with this weird energy around the island. But Hope is kind of worried, as it possesses a risk to this reality, as Homer has begun spreading this magic called Shard-A-Magic, which is beginning to change the street signs. However, the Simpsons characters don't trust us and believe that we are from Shelbyville, their rival city, which is exactly why we go to visit Homer Simpson. From our first encounter with him, he doesn't seem to be giving us any sort of interaction with the 0 point device, so how can we convince him? We then go to the quick E-Mart and find a treat. Continuing to follow Homer's demands, we then find ourselves in the town hall with the mayor to raise concerns of the 0 point, but no change is really happening yet. So in the meantime, Hope asks us to sneakily search the Simpsons house for more answers, where we find lots of different remotes. And when going back to Homer, he still remains stubborn and difficult, and makes the situation even more irritating for us. Like, the way he talks about the remote is almost like he feels as if it's his friend. He wants to turn Springfield into a paradise for its citizens, but if we don't want a catastrophe like we've seen with the last few seasons with the 0 point, we must follow the joy in this reality. We have to keep convincing Homer to stop what he's doing and hand it to us. But soon, we are going to start seeing giant donuts falling from the sky, clones of characters walking around, and basically exactly what random things that happen in The Simpsons, but tied in with the Fortnite universe. So essentially, we have taken a break from fighting demons and monsters from the spirit realm, and now we are exploring a whole new island. I'm still not quite sure if this already was a reality, or if it's a merged version of Springfield and an island that was caused from Kang, Kodos, Hope, and Jones. But with this much storytelling going on, I already know that the lore quests are going to be dropping so much more than last season, and it's actually very impressive how much effort has gone into this so far. I love the whole narrative between Homer and the shard idea, because it's like giving a baby a gun. That said, even though there are a clear set of quests, so far they've honestly been quite confusing. Around 50% of the challenges have a timer. We have to visit somewhere, collect something, and then bring it to somewhere else. And that's only one quest done. One quest even requires you to go from northeast of the island to southwest in just a few minutes, and on top of that, trying to read Hope's dialogues. But even with time is being stressed stressful and all of these confusing different elements of quests, it's still an improvement from having to deal damage and get eliminations with a certain weapon. But this is just the start of the storyline. We're only 1 week to the season and we still have 3 more weeks, so the storyline is about to get very interesting. Now, when we actually take a look at the season and what the gameplay offers, the one big thing that stands out for me is the art style and the cel-shaded look. We've had moments in the past where certain skins and even POIs had a similar kind of look, but the fact that a whole map is covered in cel shade is actually really interesting. The brightness and vibrant colors really make it more like a video game, because in other seasons in Chapter 6, it was all very dark and gloomy, so obviously that was the direction Fortnite wanted to take with the Spirit Realm and the violence of the demons, and that this has actually been one of the darkest chapters we have ever got. So it kind of seems like this is the opposite direction now, and it's a bit more fun. But it does seem like the mini-season was getting so much backlash before we even got to play it. The live event cinematic and the trailer leading into The Simpsons was actually very well put together. I really liked how they mixed Springfield and an island into one, as now Hope and Jones are on yet another mission once again to save us and maybe leave this reality to return back to Oninoshima to then again deal with another problem, the Dark Presence. I was personally quite confused about this direction because typically when collabs control too much of Fortnite, it seems quite tacky and cheap, and that there is no real goal, mission or mystery. Because in my opinion, all things that the community thrives off of when playing Fortnite is that, the mystery of the game, the mission and what makes us want to play the game. In my mind, the most important aspect of the game is being original and relating to a logical storyline that keeps players anticipated and excited to play the quests. And I'm honestly really invested in what will happen over the next few weeks. I might be the only one to say this, but 1 month kind of feels too short for what we're getting right now. There is so much content packaged in just a few weeks. I've literally seen people on Reddit talking about not having this much fun in so long, and genuinely people begging to make it go further than just November, because this could end up being the best season we've had in Chapter 6. And that's not it, because we've still got more content to come. We're still yet to see Krusty the Clown as a skin, Lisa Simpson as a skin too, and obviously Bart's flying skateboard and other weapons that are going to be added too. What else would you guys like to see added to this season? I genuinely think that this is one of the best starts to a season we've had in a long time now. Fortnite really surprised us, and I'm so excited to see where the storyline goes. If you are to, hit the like button on today's video, and subscribe if you are new to the channel with the notifications turned on. We just hit 75k subscribers, so thank you guys so much for that. Also, do be sure to use my code in the Fortnite item shop. But that said, 2 videos will be on the screen right now if you want to watch more content like this here on the channel.